Milano Sanremo is decided. One rider attacks. This climb is barely 4%. It should not break a monument apart. For decades, the Poggio has been the most brutal launchpad in cycling. The 2026 edition proved exactly why a few explosive seconds here can separate genius from heartbreak. Two names, two climbs, and two very different battlegrounds. Each one is etched into the final 30 kilometers of Milano Sanremo, but only one holds the power to break the race wide open. The Cipressa comes first, a steady 5.6 kilometers at an average gradient of 4.1%. On paper, it looks manageable. In reality, it is a test of pure nerve and calculation. The peloton hits the Cipressa at nearly 38 kilometers per hour, with teams ramping up the tempo to over 300 watts on the front. That is enough to thin the group, but rarely enough to shatter it. Sprinters cling to the wheels, hoping to survive. Classics, specialists and punchers test their legs with short surges, but the real drama is yet to come. After the Cipressa, there is barely time to breathe. The descent is technical, twisting, and fast, often taken at 40 kilometers per hour or more. Riders fight for position, searching for a slipstream, knowing that a single mistake can end their day. The flat coastal road offers a brief chance to regroup, but the clock is ticking. The fatigue from the Cipressa lingers in the legs, and every rider is calculating how much they have left for what comes next. Then, with 9 kilometers to go, the Poggio rises out of the Ligurian landscape. It is shorter than the Cipressa, just 3.7 kilometers, but those numbers hide the real threat. The average gradient is 3.7%, but the final ramp kicks up to nearly 8%. Speeds drop to 32 kilometers per hour, but power output still hovers above 225 watts for the leaders. The Poggio is not about grinding away, it is about timing, positioning, and the willingness to risk everything for a few seconds of daylight. Three terms dominate the tactical vocabulary here. The crest, the summit of the climb, is where the race can fracture in an instant. The surge, a brutal acceleration often above 550 watts, can open a gap that no one can close. And the descent line, the perfect path through the switchbacks, can turn a small lead into an uncatchable one. The geometry of the Poggio forces riders into single file. There is nowhere to hide. If someone attacks near the top, only the strongest can follow. If they hesitate, the race is lost. Every meter of road, every percent of gradient, every second counts. The Cipressa softens the group, but the Poggio decides everything. That is why every rider, every team, and every fan knows, if you want to win Milano Sanremo, you have to conquer the Poggio, not just with your legs, but with your mind and your nerve. Milano Sanremo's final act always pivots on the Poggio, where four riders in 2026 each bring a signature strength to the fight. Tadej Pogacar is relentless on the climbs. His specialty is a sustained uphill surge. He can hold over 6 watts per kilogram for several minutes, grinding down the group with a pace that does not let up. In both 2024 and 2025, he waited for the first signs of weakness, then turned the screw, forcing a split only the toughest could follow. Pogacar does not just attack, he suffocates the field, and if he crests the Poggio alone, the rest are left chasing a shadow that only grows longer on the descent. Mathieu van der Poel is all about the explosive burst. He thrives in the chaos, waiting for a flicker of hesitation before launching a 600-watt attack, often in the last 200 meters before the summit. His record climb in 2023, 5 minutes and 40 seconds, was not just quick, it was clinical. Van der Poel does not test the group, he detonates it. Blink, and he is gone, using the descent as a victory parade, while others scramble to organize a chase. Jasper Philipsen is the pure sprinter who survives the storm. His race is about endurance, holding the wheel, suffering through the climbs, and saving every ounce for the final 200 meters on the Via Roma. Philipsen can unleash 1,200 watts in a sprint. But only if he survives the Poggio's test. In 2025, he barely hung on to the lead group, then surged past rivals who had spent everything on the climb. For Philipsen, the Poggio is a hurdle to clear before the real battle begins. Primož Roglič is the wild card, blending time trial power with fearless descending. He does not always attack first, but when he does, he turns the Poggio into a launch pad, then uses his descending skills to stretch the gap. Roglič often forces selections on the Cipressa, then waits near the front on the Poggio, ready to strike. When he goes, it is a calculated move, big gears, over 60 kilometers per hour on the way down, gambling on hesitation behind. Each rider brings a different weapon to the Poggio, shaping the chaos and rewriting the odds with every move. The lead group is stretched thin, legs burning, every rider locked in a silent battle against the gradient and each other. Mathieu van der Poel sits third wheel, shoulders low, cadence steady at 99 revolutions per minute, almost unnaturally calm for the chaos around him. The road bends left, the gradient eases, and in that split second, Van der Poel stands on the pedals. His bike rocks side to side. Power surges past 1,100 watts. The attack is brutal, almost violent, and no one reacts in time. The gap opens instantly. At the 275-meter marker, he is already a bike length clear. By 200 meters from the crest, the time gap flashes on the broadcast overlay, 2.4 seconds. Behind, Tadej Pogacar glances back, searching for help, but hesitation ripples through the chasers. Van der Poel's cadence holds at 103 revolutions per minute, his upper body still, every muscle focused on forward drive. The camera splits. On one side, Van der Poel's face is a mask of effort. On the other, the chase group fractures, riders out of the saddle, desperate to close the gap. At the summit, the official timekeeper clocks Van der Poel's lead at 4.1 seconds. He barely crests before dropping into the descent, body low, eyes locked on the next corner. The numbers tell the story. The attack launched at 350 meters. To go, cresting with a 4.1 second margin. Cadence peaking at 106 revolutions per minute. In less than 30 seconds, the race has exploded. The peloton is left scrambling, and the Poggio has once again crowned its king through one perfectly timed, utterly shocking move. A few moments on the Poggio can rewrite the entire story of Milano Sanremo. Look at Paolo Bettini in 2005, a rider known for timing and nerve. With just 150 meters left to the summit, Bettini launched a savage attack. His power spiked past 560 watts, legs churning as the gradient eased. The gap he opened was small, but on the twisting descent, it stretched. By the time he hit the flat, the peloton was already chasing shadows. Bettini's own words at the finish said it all. "I never felt the race again after I left the Poggio." Fast forward to 2021. Jasper Philipsen faces a different race, but the script is familiar. Cresting the Poggio, he hammers out a 570-watt effort for 6 minutes, holding a 25-second advantage at the base of the descent. The chase group is bigger, the pressure even higher. But Philipsen's line through the corners is flawless. He keeps the cadence high, never hesitating, never letting the gap close. Behind him, the favorites hesitate. No one wants to take the wind. Those seconds of indecision are fatal. Then there is Peter Sagan in 2015. His move is not just about raw power. Though he delivers a brutal 580-watt burst over 5 minutes, it is about reading the chaos. Sagan knows the descent is his weapon. He attacks just after the summit, carves every switchback, and forces the chasers to gamble everything. The peloton, disorganized and desperate, cannot match his nerve or his skill. In each case, the pattern repeats. The attacker surges at or just after the crest, holding well above the 550-watt threshold. The descent becomes a test of nerve and bike handling, and behind, the chase collapses, not from lack of strength, but from hesitation, poor line choice, or simple fear. The Poggio does not just reward power, it punishes doubt. That is why, year after year, the rider who risks everything on the summit and descent can turn a handful of seconds into a monument victory. Every March, the world watches as chaos and genius collide on the Poggio. In 2026, the difference between heartbreak and victory will come down to seconds, decisions, and a final, brutal attack. The tactics evolve, but the drama never fades. Who will risk everything for glory next?